Hello, welcome to A VO's Journey. My name is Anthony. This show is about helping the new and upcoming voiceover artists grow their business, sidestep all the crazy things that I seem to step on. Welcome back to part 5 of how to get started in voiceover. Today we're talking about finding work and building a business. I can tell you one thing, we're not going to be able to get to everything in one, 10-minute video. But I'll definitely go over an overview of this. And this part really excites me for a variety of reasons. But I think when we talk about finding work and talking about building a business in general, there's really kind of 3 things that I like to consider. First off is your vision. All right. We have to have a vision for what you want your business to be, what you want to happen. Okay. How do what do you want from this business, right? What's your vision? Do you know what I mean? A lot of people talk about their vision as being, I want to make X amount of money, and that's okay. That could be part of it. But, the overall idea, what do you want to get out of this? And what do you hope to get out of this? It has to be more than just money. Money is a part of it, but there's got to be more from this. Is it satisfaction? Is it, I want to live a satisfied life from being able to control what I do, be creative, share my message, you need a vision for what your business is going to be, what you want it to be, and what you want to accomplish. Okay. The second part of this is we need to have a process. Right? We need to have, how are you going to get there? I mean, what are the things we need to do? The A, B, C, D, E, F, G. What are the things that we need to do in order to get to that vision? Okay, you can find this part of what we're doing here in these five videos, part of being a part of VO Journey Academy or any academy or any knowledge that you gain. There's a ton of information out there that will help you with the step-by-step processes. And there's a bunch of different processes. Okay. So you need a process, a step-by-step process in order to get to that vision. And then I think the third thing is, which can be one of the most challenging out of all of that, and that is the discipline that you need in order to make it all happen. And, that is something that with all the voice actors and the people I coach, I've come across a few who really had that the discipline needed in order to be successful. And I think the thing about being successful, right, is being successful is not a multiple choice answer, meaning that there's not all these other ways out here or all these other, methods. Being successful takes what it takes. You have to do what you have to do in order to be successful. There is no, well, I'm just not going to do it and I'll still be successful, right? You have to do the things that need to be done in order for you to be successful. It's kind of binary. Either you do it or you don't do it. Now, I think, taking a step back, that is not to say that, we don't have lives and families and children and responsibilities. Of course, that's what we do. And we all recognize that. I think, but what I'm talking about is that there are still, despite all of those things, there is still the things we have to do to be successful. And we won't be unless we do those things, unless we can follow that process. And it was funny, I was just on a call with one of my students, and we were talking about perseverance. Getting through things when times are hard, or when we fail, or when we're sending out email after email after email to possible clients, potential clients, and we get nothing. Or we're posting, on social media and we get nothing. Or we're working on our website and we get nothing. Or we're auditioning and we get nothing. That perseverance Or something happens outside of our business, right? Something our child gets sick, something happened at school. I had to go and cancel meetings yesterday and go pick up my son because he was sick. You have an argument with your spouse, you get laid off from your job, or you're having trouble at your job. There's money problems, there's something happened in your family, there's something going on, in your area, there's something going on that you're upset about, maybe in the country. But all the things that we are going through, there's all these things that happen to us. And, before we talk about all of the get into that process, right? Having the perseverance to move forward despite the falling down, despite failing, or despite, having a tough go, having a lot to do, being tired, all of these things, right? That perseverance can, be the glue that holds it all together, or it doesn't. And there's nothing that holds it together. And then discipline, in this case, self-discipline, falls apart. And we all struggle with this in a variety of ways, not just in our business, in our personal lives, in our weight. I love to eat. It's a truth, right? It's a part of our lives, and it's a great challenge. At the same time, it's very exciting because you have at your fingertips always an opportunity to move forward and be successful. Because you can't be really successful without overcoming a lot of adversity. All right. So I wanted to kind of go over those top three things before we dive more into like the process part, because in the end, like I said, in a lot of cases, the process from a knowledge standpoint, that's easy. Think about all the books out there on how to build a business and how to improve yourself. And all of those are just filled with processes that somebody at some point had studied people or had put into practice, and it worked. So there's tons of that out there. And and I always love that. I don't remember who said it, but they said, if all the books, like if all the books on self-improvement worked, we wouldn't need all the books. You just need one book, right? So it's not the actual process that's hard. Okay. I really believe it's the self-discipline that's hard. I know it is for me. And the perseverance to keep going when it's not working, you don't think it's working, times are hard. That's when the rubber meets the road. So I just wanted to talk about those overarching things first. All right, so let's talk about finding work and things like that. Of course, at VO Journey Academy, and when I built my business, when I first started off, I followed a path. And I'd like to say that at the time, it was a path that I had this master plan. I think anybody who tells you they had a master plan from the beginning, I don't believe it. You build it after you have gone through it over and over again, failed and succeeded, and then you mold it, and then you show other people, and through them you can see, hey, this actually works because it's working for them, right? And you make it better, and you make it better. So that's kind of what I did. All right. So I like to always start off with freelance platforms and finding work. And I do it for a variety of reasons. One, it's easy to get onto them. They're free. It doesn't take anything other than, right, you getting your setup put together like we talked about, having your demos ready and things like that. But you can get on them without having to know someone, without having to live in a specific city and a state, all right, without having to travel places, without having to go to conferences, without having to do all this stuff. All right, you can get started very easily. So I always like to mention getting started on freelance platforms. And a lot of work, and this is the reality, a lot of work goes through these platforms. Millions and millions and millions and millions and millions, hundreds of millions of dollars goes through these platforms every year. And so there's a lot of work that goes through these platforms. And I always recommend getting on freelance platforms first, moving up to intermediary platforms and then to pay to play platforms. Intermediary websites are websites, for example, that you join, and typically they're free still, but they have like an intermediary, meaning like the company itself or the website, they'll have a producer or somebody there who manages kind of like the client, and they come to you and they send you the project, you do the project, send it back to them, and they give it to the client. You know, they're like a go-between. They're like a middleman person, as opposed to just the website being a platform that you and the client is on, and you guys deal with each other. An intermediary is having like an intermediary person. And then a pay-to-play site is going to be a site where you pay to join, you know what I mean, and you get auditions and things for that as well. They're just different types of websites. Typically on the pay to play websites, you pay, you get auditions. You know, on the freelance websites, you know, you just deal directly. It's just almost like a marketplace that you deal directly. There's no really assistance there for you. There's no help. You're just there to deal with the client. From there, right, we go on to direct marketing, you know, where we are going to be directly going to potential clients, whether that's through email, whether that's through phone calling, some sort of messaging, whether that's messaging on social media, things like that. But, you know, the methods that you use there, very important, because so much has changed now as opposed to 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, especially with email, especially with social media. So we're going to talk about, I think, the ultimate equalizer that we don't go into very much because it takes a lot of perseverance. And which is the next part of this, is building your website. Think about, and I was just funny because, again, I was just having this conversation just before this too. I made this video. When you go to buy something, do you go on social media to buy something? Just think about it. Do you ever type? I mean, I never do. Maybe you do, but I don't. I've never done it, especially a service. I've never gone on and looked for a service. Now, what I have done is, if I go, which I think all of us do typically, is we'll go to Google and we will type in the service we're looking for, the business name we're looking for. And if we don't have a website, or they do a website, but we want to make sure they're legit, we might go to like their Facebook, or we might go to a social media page or something to see if they are, you know, they've got good reviews, if they're inactive, something like that. We might do that. But typically when we're going to buy something like that, we go straight to their website. Right? And, you know, if we, you know, that from Google, and usually because Google has reviews on it, we'll see the Google reviews. So we might not even need to go to social media. We've got it right there on Google. So if you think about that, our website should play the largest role after we are done getting onto the freelance websites, and the pay-to-play websites and the intermediary websites. The reason why I like to do it in that order and not start your website first is because, one, it takes a great deal of work. It does. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't take a great deal of work to get work on freelance websites. Now I'm saying, but those websites, the structure is already built, the machine is already built, the advertising they're doing is already built. All that's already done. Okay, so you are just putting your stuff on there and, you know, marketing within the platforms that are already there. When we build our own website, we have to build it all and do all that ourselves. So that takes time, it takes effort, and it takes time for our website for us to build it large enough for people to find us. So then the goal is we want people to type in Google. They're looking for a voice actor, they're looking for this, they're looking for that, and Google to us to come up on the front page of Google. Okay, and for the people to click on us and for them to find us. Okay, now through social media, it's important for us to use social media as a way to share our work, you know, be up to date, be current, but it's not going to be your primary form of getting voiceover work. It just isn't. But it is a great way to get contacts. It's a great way to build an email list, right? To meet people and stuff. We have to remember what social media is good for. Okay, what is our process of using social media? All right, I mean, you're not going to be getting all these people messaging you through social media. I'd like to buy a voiceover from you. All right, I've gotten some, but very little over 8 or 9 years, and I do a lot of social media. And I've coached a lot of people. We've worked very hard, and they've worked very hard through a variety of things. And the best results we've had is using social media as a way of meeting people, getting those contacts, emails, and then starting to build a relationship directly through them, whether it's through messaging, whether it's through that. So in that sense, social media plays a pivotal role, but just not in the manner I think which a lot of us want it to be, which is like, I say I sell voiceovers and someone contacts me through social media. That just doesn't happen very much for the majority of people. You're always going to have somebody who says, oh, I get all kinds of work from social media. That's fantastic. But the majority of people do not, and they won't. Okay, because I don't go to social media looking to buy stuff. I bet you don't either. It doesn't mean that someone's not, like there's not a ring light or something that you buy. I mean, I'm on TikTok, and, there's people sell all kinds of, I see one of those like shaker things where you stand on and it shakes your body all the time. But the point is that, the majority of what we're going to get will eventually come through our website and through our email. But it comes through that by us building that website. Okay. That process stays the same, and you will be the happiest through a well-built, continuously growing website that ranks higher and higher for keywords that people are searching for than anything else you do, because you own that. You own that website. Do you know what I mean? And it will drive traffic to what you want people to see, your online store. But again, I don't recommend you start with it, because that's a lot, and it does take time. It's going to take a couple of years. Okay, so that's why we start with these other ways, so we can actually start getting experience, working with clients, making money to fund that time it takes to build the rest of it. Okay, now if you had a whole bunch of money, right, like, and I hate to say it now, but it's probably more like 50 grand and above, you could speed that process up on your website. Just like social, it's just like any, and I think this is actually a really good, quick conversation to have. Remember, money changes. Like, the more money you have, the faster you can do things on social media, the faster you can do things on your website. But I didn't have any of that. I had a $200 gift card. Most of us have nothing when we start. You know what I mean? So like, I don't have that, I don't even have that money today to spend, 100 grand on building, just, or going crazy and hiring engineers and marketers and stuff just for my website. Well, the reason why I bring that up, like, why'd you bring that up, is because a lot of times you'll hear someone, well, this will work. And yeah, it would work if you have the right resources and the time. Most of us don't have that. So what I'm saying is, we can do it. It just takes a little more time. And that's why I like the freelance platforms, the pay-to-play platforms. They're the access to a lot for little, because they leverage a lot of people in order to be able to pay for marketing, etc. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, pricing your work. Let's kind of go into pricing your work and talk real quickly about how pricing works. All right. So first off, pricing works. Majority of commercial work kind of works this way. All right. You are first paid for your time to record. All right. So we're paid for our time to record. Sometimes I need you to come in, or I need you to do a live recorded session or something. We're paid for our time to record. So we're going to give you like, $200 for an hour of recording time. Okay. So you get $200 for that hour of recording. Then after you record, we are paid a licensing fee. Okay. A fee that we're paid based off of how long they want to use our work, how many people they're going to show it to. Okay. And in many cases, what's the context of it? All right. And so you're paid based off your time, and you're paid off of licensing it, whether it's 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, if they want to buy it out in perpetuity. Okay, is it local? Is it regional? Is it national? Is it international? Is it radio? Is it radio and TV? Right? Are there tags attached to it? You have all of these pricing methods onto it. But quick note, a lot of that, what I just said, revolves around commercial work. Audiobooks, as you know, we do a lot of audiobooks here. We got Academy Voices, where we hire narrators, and we work with authors, and we publish a lot of audiobooks. I think we're over 240 now published audiobooks. And audiobooks are charged differently. You're charged per finished hour of work, not how much hours you actually work. It's a different mode of, I don't know why it was priced that way originally. I have no idea. But you'll notice that there's a lot of different places or a lot of different categories in voiceover that are priced differently. Like e-learning, we typically price per word. All right, whether it's 12 cents, 15 cents, 20 cents, and then we reduce that price in bulk. Okay, we price, let's see, what else? Video games. Okay, many places will only they'll like, even Crunchyroll, these places only give people 35, $40 an hour. It's pretty bad. But then you have places, right, where there's a specific amount per project that you're just paying for. They're going to buy your work for you. In small cases, I wish it was more, you get residuals, but a lot of places aren't going to give you residuals unless it's a very large game and you have a lot of, you're just very popular and you have a lot of clout behind you. But that doesn't usually happen, right? So that's paid a very specific way. And there's always fees and things you can tack on but there'll be probably like a recording fee, and you would have a licensing fee. But then there's a lot of people who will only pay you just for the project in general because they're indie games. There's a lot of indie games, so they don't have a lot of money. And I think, that's what you're going to run it. And then there's voicemail, right? There's specific voicemail for pickups, for prompts. You have prompt. I mean, there's all of these different ways. So like on aviojourney.com, we have a rate guide. GVAA has a rate guide. I think Gravy for the Brain has a rate guide. But there's rate guides out there. And they're primarily all the same. Some are going to be more expensive than others. Some are cheaper than others. And all that is, honestly, in the end, is you deciding, which is the best for you. Okay. Based off of, what you're doing and what your vision is for your business. But anyways, I think rate guides are very helpful in this sense. But as long as you understand, we typically are paid for time, and then we're typically paid to license our work. And don't forget, a lot of places also use word count now, right? And I always look at word count as just another way of pricing your time. But don't forget, you also still need to price licensing for your work, all right? But we don't license audiobook work, for example, right? It's all pretty much encompassed within that price, okay? Now, there's different things where you can get paid per finished hour and get royalties. That's great. So there is that out there. So there's a lot of varieties. So that's why I think rate guides are very helpful. And then I think, we kind of got into that first part. The last thing I want to talk about was marketing yourself. And I think that is what I was talking about just a little bit ago, about coming from freelance platforms into intermediary platforms into pay-to-play platforms. Then from there, working on building out your website, continuously building your website, building more pages on your website, having a blog, really going after those keywords that people are searching for to hire voice actors, hire categories in voice actors. Like if you want to focus on audiobooks, working on audiobooks and building that website to really attract authors. And then there's resources on there for authors and resources for people who are producing, as opposed to just your demos. That's wonderful. That has to be on there, but that's not enough. I mean, no one's going to find you with just a page or two of you and your demos on there. Like, why would anybody go? The only reason someone's going to go there is if you go and you do a tour of the whole country and you physically hand people your business card, and they have a reason to go there. There's no other reason someone's going to go there. Now, you can drive traffic, and we talked about that through social media, but typically we want to build your website so you get traffic, free traffic from Google. And then from there, using social media as a branding tool, as a way for people to you to legitimize what you do, share some of your work, and also be able to build contacts with people, find people on there, because people do like to share stuff, and it's a way for you to build further relationships. But the primary form, or the primary force of where you're going to get direct work, is going to be through your website. Okay. And again, you're going to have outliers of people who are always like, oh, no, you can do this, or, oh, it's through email. But remember, email marketing is great, but it's got to come back to the hub of your website, right? Your website is the hub. It is your online store, just like a brick and mortar, right? It's your store. So it's got to all be based from your website. So that's kind of the progression of the marketing. Now, talking about agents, I think it's great to have agents, and there's a lot of agents out there. I don't like exclusivity, which is the idea that you sign something with an agent and every piece of work and everything goes through that agent and they get a percentage of it. But there's a lot of agents that are non-exclusive all over, and there's some who do regional areas, there's some who do local, there's some who do national, international. They don't even require you to have a regional aspect. But there's a lot of different agents, and you can find them online. You just search for them, submit your stuff, to follow the directions. They'll have directions. And what I find that agents do is they open up a lot of doors that you wouldn't normally have access to, because it's like they have contacts. Now, don't expect agents to get you more than probably 5% of your work, but they will be really cool projects. Do you know what I'm saying? The majority of still what you're going to do in your business will come from you. Okay, it's just the way it is nowadays. But and there will always be a few who their agent gets them more, but primarily that's it. But you still want to have all of these. All of these are different methods of marketing. Okay. Now, I do think the last part is working with other voice actors. I think that that's extremely important, getting to know the community, other voice actors, because myself and I don't know, I don't have a percentage number, but I know myself and a lot of voice actors, we get a lot of work from other voice actors. I give work to other voice actors have given work to me. It's just a good, well, of course, I guess I give work to a lot of voice actors because of Academy Voices, but I mean, not just because of a platform, but just because work will come to me, and it's not necessarily, I don't fit that role, but I know, somebody else that I know does, so I'll send it to them. And that's how it works. So being with a community, knowing people, does help get a lot of work for you as well. Also get you projects that you would normally get to, because they came to that person and not you. So I hope this overview today is kind of giving you, a look at this part 5 of finding work and building a business. And then remember, in the end, the 3 things: your vision, the process, and the discipline through perseverance it takes, right, to make your business a success. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and share this, and share some in the comments, some different things you've been through, different challenges and successes, some things you've overcome in adversity to build your business. Or maybe you're still trying to build it. You're just starting, and some things that, you are working on right now. I'd love to hear from you. Also check out VO Journey Academy. As always, that your training is paramount to all of this. You have to constantly be training. We never stop training our whole life. Even when you get to the highest levels of success, you keep training always. So love to have you. Have a great Tuesday, you guys. Take it easy, everyone. Bye-bye.